Happy Tuesday and welcome into another edition of Gold and Black Radio. I'm your host, Derek Schultz, back from family vacation and with team camps and official visits coming in hot and heavy. It's been a busy news cycle for Barry Odom and his staff. We're going to talk all about it with the newest addition to the Gold and Black team, Dub Jellison, here in just a few minutes. But first, a shout out to our tremendous Gold and Black sponsors. That list includes Purdue Federal Credit Union, a proud partner of Purdue Athletics and the official credit card for Purdue fans. Boiler Up, East End Grill and Ripple and Company, two distinctive bistros across the street from one another on the far end of Main Street, the perfect place for your next event. The Whitaker Inn, this Midwestern oasis, is perfect for a relaxing staycation or a weekend getaway. Escape from the ordinary at the Whitaker Inn. Sand Valley Resort, where tee times for the 2025 golf season are now available. Using their online booking platform, it's easier than ever to find availability and experience golf as it was meant to be. Conveniently located in the breathtaking dunes of central Wisconsin, Sand Valley offers a collection of award-winning courses designed by world-renowned architects that are available and suitable for all skill levels. Visit sandvalley.com and book your tee times online today. And last but certainly not least, the Purdue Institute for Cancer Research, which has a history of innovation and one goal for the future: defeat cancer. Purdue brings together world-class Boilermaker scientists from across the university, conducting cutting-edge research that uncovers new ways to prevent, diagnose, and treat cancer. With your support, cancer research saves lives. Join the fight and donate to the Purdue Institute for Cancer Research today. So, as I mentioned, I was on this family vacation. We actually took a road trip. It hit like 13 states and 2 countries in 10 days. And I got a text message during the road trip that, hey, guess what? I think you know this person, but Dub Jellison's going to be on the Gold and Black team. And I'm like, do I know Dub? Yeah, I know Dub. I've known Dub for a long time. Really excited to have him be part of the Gold and Black team here as we welcome him on for the first time to Gold and Black Radio. And as I mentioned, the news broke while I was away, but congrats, a belated congrats, and welcome to the team here, man.
Thank you. I was a little belated in texting you. I should have texted you sooner. But yeah, like you said, I've known you for years now. And it's been awesome. This first week has been awesome, and can't wait for the future.
Yeah, I was gonna say you kind of had to hit the ground running here, right? As Purdue hosted a team camp, the second one, and they've had a flurry of verbal commitments, which you've been on top of, come in over your first week on the job. Let's start with the latest, and we're taping this right now on Monday afternoon, and I have to start doing this, Dub, because we've done this with Tom with the transfer portal. Like sometimes we tape Monday afternoon, and then like 3 more commitments would come in between the release of the episode on Tuesday. But let's start with Rashad. Projects as a tight end. What does this coaching staff envision for Dream and his fit on these future Boilermaker squads?
Well, let me just start by saying I think he's going to wind up being the most intriguing guy in this class for Purdue. Definitely as of right now, he is. His whole life has played quarterback, except for Pee Wee and Little League. I talked to his coach, Coach Appling, down there at Buford, and he said that he's more or less been a quarterback his whole life. Actually left that school, went to another school for his junior season. He's now back at Buford, and just the measurables stand out about him. 6'6", 230. Right now, he's kind of a mold for what you would like in a receiving tight end, and obviously that's how Purdue will use him when he gets to West Lafayette next year. A lot of question marks surrounding him, though. Nobody's seen him in an actual game at tight end. A lot of schools were able to go down to Georgia and see him in workouts, and obviously Purdue felt comfortable enough to roll the dice on him. And in watching his film, obviously you can't take much from when he's sitting in the pocket throwing.
Sure.
But when you can see him get out and really open his gate and get out and run, the athleticism's there. It's just going to be about him getting around Coach Henson and Coach Spurlock, and really dialing in the intricacies of the tight end position and what it takes at the Big Ten level. But the talent and the upside is definitely there for Dream Rashad.
And is there confidence not only with the staff, but from what you've heard from Dream and his high school coaching staff that this transition, there are always bumps along the way, but this transition can be a fluid one for him given that athleticism?
Yeah, absolutely. And his football IQ, being a quarterback, you gotta be a smart guy. So that's what Coach Appling was talking about when I was speaking to him. Is he's really picked it up quite quickly just figuring out where to go in the defense, find the gaps in the defense, and knowing what defenses are doing just from his quarterback background. It's really helped him in this transition. And that's, I mean, he's not a finished product by any means, but that's just going to help the transition. And as he continues to develop and get more comfortable, you can start to see him get better and better. But he's a guy I'm very intrigued by, and I'm interested to see, his film from his upcoming senior year.
On the other side of the ball, Purdue also scored commitments from two separate Illinois defensive linemen over the weekend, Terrell Berryhill and Aiden Selecki. What can you tell us about those two, Dub?
Yeah, so Berryhill, down from Tom Dienhart's neck of the woods down there in East St. Louis. The thing that stands out about him right off the bat when I was watching this film was his athleticism. He's about as athletic as you can get at that offensive tackle spot. So that's what really stands out about him. 6'6", 265, and you can tell he's 265. Once he gets to Purdue, he'll have to bulk up. But, I mean, that's true of just about any high school offensive lineman. But you can see the upside that's there. Super fast, gets to the next level, plays with a very high motor. So that's a kind of an upside take for Purdue. But definitely a guy that's intriguing. And then Aiden Selecki, he's just a grinder from what I've watched and what I've heard about him. Very versatile. He can play inside or outside. I think he's probably better suited for inside at the college level. But two guys that have been kind of under-recruited, especially Berryhill. I think he only had one or two Division I offers prior to Purdue jumping in the fold. Selecki had Washington State and Fresno State, Michigan State, all in on him as well. But two guys, they're upside guys and guys that Purdue's rolling the dice on.
Yeah, I was going to say that the offer list, and we could throw even Dream Rashad in there. It may not wow you, but you keep mentioning the athleticism and the upside, especially in the case of Rashad and Berryhill. Is that just what Purdue's and this staff is betting on? Yeah,
to an extent, with these guys, I think high school recruiting is in such a weird place now, where I don't know how many impact starters or impact guys you're gonna get in their first year. You're gonna have to develop some guys, which has been the case forever. But yeah, I think the skills and traits you can mold them in their technique, and you can improve their technique and develop them once they're on campus. But it's the skills and the traits and the measurables that I think a lot of college coaches and staffs have really been enamored by.
Now, one offer list that was impressive was that of Brandon Kinsey, a 3-star wide receiver out of Miami, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Auburn. So some powers in the SEC were on him, as well as a lot of other schools down in that region. We've seen Purdue go down south plenty, particularly Georgia when it comes to the transfer portal, and now trying to go down south here for a wide receiver. But fill us in on their latest wide receiver project as well, who just came in as a prospect.
Yeah, Kinsey kind of blew up after the turn of the year. I think it was January when he really started to pull in some of those offers you were talking about. Things kind of cooled on him, and Purdue kind of swooped in and was able to get him on campus and lock that recruitment up pretty quickly. I think they offered him in the first week of June, if I'm not mistaken, and then had it wrapped up within 2 weeks. Watching his film, he runs really great routes. He's a guy that can be explosive as well. And he's very productive for what I believe is a very good high school down there at Miami Central. I'm not super well versed in Southern Florida high school football, maybe as I should be, but he's another guy. And Purdue's needing receivers in this class. They got a few more that they're going after, but pairing Kinsey with Chemistry Young is a very good start there.
Yeah, I mean, Chemistry Young, and then you've got a guy named Dream Rashad. They're recruiting a guy named Jet. You got some great names potentially coming up here that are going to be wearing gold and black, hopefully, in falls to come. We're talking with Dub Jellison, who's the newest addition to the gold and black team, talking football recruiting. 2026 class. Now, again, I have to put a qualifier on here. As we're taping this Monday afternoon, now up to 17 commitments. How do you feel about how they stack up so far, and where are some areas that maybe give you a little bit of concern, Dub, where there's still – I know there's work to do just period overall with the class, but are there specific areas where you say, okay, Purdue needs to get some help here?
I definitely think that they need to keep building that receiver room. They only had one in the class of 2025. Obviously, you got some transfers in there out of the portal. But building depth in that room, I think, will be key, if nothing else. And then, obviously, you would hope that some of these guys could potentially step in and serve in some role in 2026, especially with the likes of Michael Jackson and those guys only being 1 year stopgaps at receiver there. And then defensive line, even though they got, Josiah Hope and Aiden Selecki, I think that's going to be a big area for them in this class. They got the likes of Jamarcus Weiss and Kobe Cherry and Cameron McCaney still out there that they're recruiting. So they got some more options. And they're gonna keep trying to fill those spots. But I think those are the two biggest ones. They're still on several defensive backs, and then edge rusher. So I think those are the four main areas that they're gonna try to fill out between now and early December.
Always tough coming off a coaching change and a 1-win season, and to credit Ryan Walters and his staff, recruiting wasn't really necessarily a big problem for them. That they recruited just fine. It was the coaching and development side of the things, and where things kind of went awry. But just from the conversations you've had, Dub, I mean, high school coaches, they talk, right? And they talk about new staffs, and they tell you, hey, this guy's doing a good job here, or this team's not doing a good job here. What has been, I know you've only been on the job a week, and maybe this is a better question for like 3-4 months from now, but what's been your overall kind of takeaway for how Barry Odom and his staff have done here in taking the reins of this program and getting back to high school recruiting, which, as you mentioned, is in probably the weirdest spot that it's ever been before, given the reliance that a lot of teams have now on the portal?
Yeah, absolutely. And, Alan and I talked about this a little bit last week, but Barry Odom just seems like a Purdue guy. Like, you could tell the first time we had the opportunity to sit there and talk to him at his opening press conference. He just seems like a Purdue guy. He's going to shoot you straight. And that's the sense that I've got from some of their key targets and some of the coaches that I've been able to talk to at the high school level. They're very well respected, especially, Barry's time at Missouri and Arkansas. He has connections down there in the South and the SEC, in SEC country. So, going down there, and they've really made Georgia and Florida two priorities on the recruiting trail. And I've heard from several coaches down there that they have the utmost respect for them. And, Barry's been steadfast about turning this thing around quickly. And we're gonna see if he's able to do that.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. It's nice to see some of the excitement and respect kind of come back here in the early months. But still, as we know, when the schedule turns to September and October, it's all about the product that they put on the field. So we'll see what the Boilermakers look like coming up here for 2025. You can check out Dub's terrific work, goldenblack.com, throughout the summer. Recruiting news, as I mentioned, is burning hot and heavy right now. So if you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and do that and check out not only Dub's work, but Tom Dienhart's work on the football side, and then, of course, Brian Newbert on the basketball side as well. Congratulations again, my man. So happy for you, and don't be a stranger. We're going to talk to you again plenty here right on Golden Black Radio.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
That's our pal Dub Jellison, and it's great to see that Purdue making some inroads on recruiting and up to 17 commitments for the 2026 class, and trying to kind of build that thing forward. As the early months with Odom and his staff, it was about, hey, let's just get guys in here, let's get them part of the program, let's hit the portal really hard, as you have to do with all the attrition that naturally comes after a coaching change. And now it's about kind of, instead of thinking about fall of 2025, it's about thinking towards the future. And looks like the early returns so far have been good for him and his staff. Let's give a final thank you to our great sponsors that make Golden Black Radio possible every week, including Purdue Federal Credit Union, the official credit card for Purdue fans, East End Grill and Ripple & Company, two distinctive bistros across the street from one another on the far end of Main Street in Lafayette, The Whitaker Inn for unparalleled comfort and cuisine. Visit the Whitaker Inn. Sand Valley Resort, where tee times for the 2025 golf season are now available. Just visit sandvalley.com and book your tee times online today. And finally, the Purdue Institute for Cancer Research, which has a history of innovation and one goal for the future: defeat cancer. Join the fight and donate to the Purdue Institute for Cancer Research today. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. And of course, you can leave a positive review on this podcast and everything that we do at Golden Black. Also, for Golden Black Radio listeners, if you go to goldenblack.com and you're not already a subscriber, please do so. Please check out all of the great content from Dub, from Tom, from Carm, from Brian, Knucklehead Central, and interact with the greatest Purdue fan base that there is on goldenblack.com, to say the least, and get all the latest Golden Black news right here at goldenblack.com, and subscribe as well. Free availability at the goldenblack.com channel on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can enable alerts as well, where we'll put up new highlights, videos, content uploaded regularly on all of those channels. So thanks so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and supporting. And we will do it again next week right here on Golden Black Radio.